Welcome to QCC's Face the Region. Face the Region is produced by Quinsigamond Community College to assist our region in attaining educational, economic, and personal prosperity. Now, here's your host, WCRN's Hank Stoltz.
Good afternoon, and thank you for joining us once again on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. I'm Hank Stoltz, and we are joined today by Associate Professor of Environmental Physical Science, Anita Sirocco. And thank you so much for being with us.
Thank you for having me.
So now, I'm to understand that environmental sciences is actually going to be a new field of study here at QCC coming up in the fall?
Yes, it's very exciting, and we've been working on it for a little while now, and we're very excited to unveil it this fall. Students are actually currently able to change their major to the environmental science option as part of liberal arts, and we're looking forward to attracting new students outside of QCC as well.
Is this something that a lot of students have been asking for?
Yes. So I've been teaching at QCC for the past 6 years, and one of the classes that I do teach is an introduction to environmental science. And in that class, I've been asked over the past 6 years, why don't we have an environmental science major? Why isn't something set up? And they just take an array of classes that they know the environmental science majors need when they transfer to the four-year university without having an actual environmental science,
Right.
major at this school. And so I've been asked time and time again, so it was like, okay, here's the time.
Well, you look around at what's happening in our society today, and everybody talks about going green. How did you get into it? What's some of your background that got you interested in the environment and environmental science?
I've always been passionate about the environment. It was something that I've always been interested in. I majored in environmental engineering actually at WPI. And then after that, before I came here, I worked as a consulting engineer for a few years, and I was dealing with water and wastewater treatment. And as I was doing that, I got more and more passionate about it and realized that what I wanted to do was to educate younger people about the environment, because I felt that's where I can make the biggest difference.
Oh, that part is interesting. So you're a consulting engineer. Tell me a little bit about what that does for wastewater.
I did drinking water and wastewater treatment. Specifically, what I dealt with was designing water mains for piping our tap water, and also sewer mains for transporting the wastewater to the sewer treatment plant. And then I also dealt with some stormwater permitting and stuff. Well,
this is certainly much in the news as well. I mean, we only have to see the horrible situation that was going on in Flint, Michigan, to know what an incredible impact this can have on it. That kind of thing, is that what you were involved in?
I designed the mains, and of course the big issue with Flint was the pipes, and unfortunately, because of that whole problem, tap water has gotten a really bad reputation, when in reality tap water is regulated and tested far more than bottled water, and it's very reliable. But what we need to be doing is investing in the infrastructure.
Yeah, and I certainly want to talk about environmental science and what's coming up here. But just the fact that we now have an expert, and this is really much in the news. Whenever I see a picture of a water main break or something in the city of Worcester, and they'll say, and here's the pipe from like 1898 or something. So what is our water flowing through, and is it then filtered somehow before we pour it out of the tap? Because I don't know. In 2016, I'm guessing that the safety regulations are a little bit better than maybe they were in the late 1800s.
Yes, ever since we had the Clean Water Act in the 70s, things have gotten better and better, and every day we have new emerging contaminants that are being regulated under the Safe Drinking Water Act, which is regulated by the Environmental Protection Agency. Our water is treated at the drinking water plant, and then it is usually stored in a tank, and then it gets piped to the distribution system. We have something called residual chlorine, which is enough chlorine to kill any bacteria so that it doesn't contaminate the water within the pipes. And then there's usually also something called corrosion control, which is also in there so that we don't have the leaching of lead or copper into our water from the pipes. Now, corrosion control is what was absent from the Flint, Michigan. Had they added an orthophosphate there to control corrosion, this problem would not have occurred.
See, I can tell. I'm telling you right now, people are listening and going, okay, I feel the passion. I want to go out and I want to go to QCC and take this
course. So.
I do now as well. I think it's fascinating. And again, it is something that is, I'm sure, a real growth industry in America as well, but that more people are interested in. All right, so what's going to happen? And then we've got a couple of students who are going to actually be in this first class of environmental science coming up in the fall. What is, when you go from liberal arts and you go into environmental science now coming up in the fall, what is it that you're actually going to be studying? What's the course load going to look like?
The course load is going to be intense. It's a science course load, so it has a lot of sciences, biologies and chemistries. It also has math. The highest level that you take for math here, and many times that's the highest you'll ever go, is Calculus 1. And it's designed as a transfer program. So the inspiration was all the students telling me, hey, I'm going to be studying environmental science when I graduate and I go to UMass or Worcester State. I wish we had something here. So this program is that first 2 years that you can accomplish here, and then theoretically you would transfer to wherever it is you want to, and in 2 years you would have a bachelor's of science in environmental science or environmental studies.
Now, Anita, you're designing this. I did
this,
design right?
Yes.
This did not exist before.
Correct.
What you have designed in the fall. So you've been here for 6 years. How long have you been working on it for it now to be able to launch in the fall?
It's been about 2 to 3 years in the works, because we had to look at all of the transfer institutions that our students typically go to and look at what that 4-year degree looks like, and then look at how can we pull that first 2 years and make you come to Quinsig, and you would be accomplishing the same thing, and what courses here correspond to the courses there. And so, for far cheaper, you can complete those first 2 years at Quinsig.
Yeah, boy, cost is huge. Now, you said, obviously you got your degree at WPI, and then as an environmental engineer, and then deciding that you wanted to get into teaching and coming here to Quinsigamond Community College. Do you find that, you're sort of designing this with people will be going on to UMass or WPI or somewhere in mind for a lot of...
Absolutely.
If you just go for the associate's degree, what kind of opportunities might there be? Or it's really designed
It's
for
limited.
4
It's a
years?
transfer. It's not a career or certificate program. It really is a transfer. It's a way for a person to come to a community college and get those core courses out of the way and really dip their feet into what environmental sciences is and make sure that's what they want to do, and then they can go on to the next 2 years. And the beauty of it is the first semester, the fall and spring semester, the courses that you take are almost the core for many different science majors. So if you're a couple months in and you say, gee, I really would rather do biology, you're not going to lose much time.
All right, well, we're going to dip our feet in straight ahead. We're going to hear from a couple of students who are going to be involved as well. Why don't you introduce them right now, then we'll take a quick break and we'll come back and we'll speak with them. Who have you brought with you today?
I have Nicole Meservy, and she is very interested in the environment, one of my top students, and she's a recent transfer into our program. And I also have Ed Reitz, who is a local guy. He's from Wachusett Regional High School, and he is also very interested in the environment and was very, very happy to hear that we have unveiled this program and was one of the first people to sign up.
All right, Nikki, Ed will be talking to you in just a moment. We are speaking with Associate Professor of Environmental Physical Science, Anita Sirocco, and we're talking about the new environmental sciences option that is going to be available here at QCC in the fall. Much more straight ahead on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. QCC's Face the Region rolls on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. Thank you so much for joining us. Talking about the environmental sciences option. This is going to be a new course of study that is being offered at Quinsigamond Community College and really designed for you to be able to, at maybe a little less expensive, to be able to take the first 2 years here at QCC and then be able to go on and get your degree from a 4-year institution. And we're speaking with the person who designed this course, Associate Professor of Environmental Physical Science, Anita Sirocco, with us. Thank you again for being here. And we also have with us Nikki and Ed as well, two students who are going to be taking this course in the fall. Nikki, let me begin with you, if I could. The professor a moment ago said, you were one of the top students. So what made you decide that you wanted to get into environmental science?
So for the past 3 or 4 years now, I've been an environmental activist, working on with local organizations and working on local campaigns, from the Keystone Pipeline to coal plants down the coast. And I'm getting to the point where I want to take it a step further. And the only way to do that is with education. I need to learn to help climate refugees and people that are suffering. So I needed to come back to school and kind of regroup. And it just so happened that I decided to start with this one class, and then showing up a couple days later, I realized that it was going to be a full-time liberal arts degree. So it was really exciting to know that I was going right in the right direction.
All right, so you already had the passion for it, but then when you came to QCC, it was really just taking that one class that kind of sparked you, and now the fact that you can continue on has really got you excited. What Nikki just told us, how common is that, do you think, as the story? People who have been involved in trying to protect the environment and now want to get some more education, so that, you've been out, as you said, you're doing some of the protests and fighting against the Keystone Pipeline, and now, getting some more background.
That is not as common. I think it's becoming more common. I think there's more younger people that are coming in that are saying, hey, I care about these issues. The vast majority of people that I have that seem to be switching into this major and getting excited about it are people who take the class and then their eyes open, and also realizing it's a versatile degree. You can become a lawyer, you can go into environmental law, you can become a doctor with an environmental science degree and go into environmental health and toxicology. There's a lot of different career pathways. It's not just, being an environmental scientist and being in the lab with a coat.
Yeah, interesting. Ed, what your interest in kind of your background and what has attracted you now to this environmental science program?
I think at first when I was deciding on classes and I looked and I saw this degree, and I'd always been somewhat interested in the environment, always had that background through programs like the Boy Scouts and just interest growing up in the South with a lot of beautiful parks. And I saw that and I was like, I would like to know more. I would like to see what I can learn from these opportunities. And then when Professor Sirocco approached me with the possibilities of this did become a new degree option, I thought this was a great option to choose from.
Now, so you've already signed up.
Yes.
And you're in the program.
I am.
You found that out about 30 seconds ago? Is that right? Yeah, good. It was very exciting. We were glad to be able to do that here. What are your sort of expectations for what you're going to get from the courses? Then I'll ask you, Professor, what your expectations for people are. But what are your expectations for what you're going to get from this?
I really hope that I just get a strong foundation to help me move on further into finishing my bachelor's degree and hopefully even my master's. I'm really interested in environmental policy and forestry, so I'm considering an area in that field, and I know Massachusetts has an excellent source for environmental policy.
Yeah, so, you really do love that outdoor part of it.
Yes.
Yeah, and like to spend some time outdoor and in the parks and things as well, which is a little different from you, it sounds like, Nikki, from what you want to do perhaps with it.
It is a little different. I guess I just realized that we're facing a really severe crisis that's hurting people, it's hurting our water, it's hurting our air, and it's hurting our future. So unless we do something about it, nothing's going to change. But we need to change our future. There's no point in you going to school for a degree that's not going to be usable in years when we don't have a future. So by going to school now and learning about environmental science and what we're doing to the planet, we can help to shape a better planet in our future.
Yeah, this issue of environmental science and global warming and things like that, it's so political now. But here, when you're teaching the course, I don't know, does politics get involved? Politics does get involved. Okay,
this course is very heavily...
Isn't that funny? See, because I was thinking that, geez, do you try and stay away from that? No, okay.
You can't stay away from it. It's there every day. In the election years, it becomes increasingly evident that people try to ignore or say ignorant comments regarding environmental problems. The biggest homeworks that I give them homeworks a lot, and almost everything is current event articles about stuff that's happening right now, stories we hear. Every day, if I hear something, I come and I share it with them. We can't stay away from the politics.
Well, it seems like we
of
just
the
have
current
more
events.
and more severe weather, don't we?
Yes, we have more and more severe weather. We have our first case of environmental refugees due to global climate change. We have, the fires burning in Alberta, Canada, because of the oil sands. We have a lot of crazy stuff happening. So, we don't shy away from that. We talk about it all the time.
All right, I want to follow up a little bit on that, but I also wanted to go back to, so what are your expectations? So here's two
very different
taking the class,
students
and
taking
it's
the
going to be,
same thing.
Right, and they're going to get what you talked about. So they'll each have this base, then be able to go on, but they'll end up probably following different career paths.
Yeah, just listening to their interests, they're in the same major program, but that's the beauty of the subject, is it's very versatile, and you can really almost find anything that interests you in the subject matter. Nicole seems far more interested in doing aid. She would probably, I see her working for the United Nations Environmental Program, doing global outreach and helping with this crisis and educating people and just being on the field there. I see Ed at the Department of Environmental Protection or, the Forestry Department, and I see him out in the forest managing and figuring those problems out. So
let me ask you, to go back to the politics of it. Some of it seems to be tied up. I'm just wondering how many different things you kind of get into in the class. Some of it seems to be tied up into the economy, of course, as well. Whether people think that believe all the scientists that global warming is man-made, or want to believe others, as you kind of said, that it's not as much. There's no doubt that it's changing, and there's no doubt that it's something that man has to deal with. it seems to me that for a lot of states, it's but how much do you want to spend? If I believe that New York City is going to be underwater, how much do I want to spend? How many millions do I want to spend to prevent that from happening? When am I going to spend that money? How far along does it have to get? Is there an economic component to it?
There is.
Well?
In fact, the second chapter we study is the relationship between the environment and the economy. And the biggest point to take away from that is that you can never separate an economic crisis from an environmental crisis. They always go hand in hand. Where you have one, you will find the other. And so the biggest myth that is portrayed by politicians and big businesses is that it's either man or the environment, and that we have to choose, when in reality there is no man, there is no economy, there are no jobs without the environment, because everything we take from the environment, and everything we output to the environment.
Environmental sciences. I mean, are you hooked yet? Okay, you got to come and you got to sign up, and it's starting in the fall. We're going to tell you how to sign up, by the way, give you some of the nuts and bolts. We'll do that straight ahead on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. I'm Hank Stoltz, and this is QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN. We're talking today about the environmental sciences option, and this is going to be something that you're going to be able to have at QCC beginning in the fall. And the person who has created this program is with us, Associate Professor of Environmental Physical Science, Nita Sirocco. Thank you so much. We also have some students who are going to be taking the course in the fall as well. Nikki and Ed are here as well. So the class starts in the fall. What do people... Nikki and Ed were already here at QCC. What do people have to know about, or how do people get involved in the program, whether they're here or whether they're just listening right now, or their folks are listening right now and saying, oh, that's something that I'd like to get more information about?
Well, there's a number of ways. We have a great STEM outreach here, where we have STEM people going out to the high schools and talking about our degree programs and also mentioning the new options. We have an email set up, envscience@qcc.mass.edu. And if you also go to the Quinsigamond website and you look at our academic programs, the environmental science option is listed under liberal arts, and you can see the requirements as well as all the courses that are required to obtain this degree.
And if this hadn't have come along, if this class hadn't have come along, I mean, what do you think? I mean, your time here at QCC actually would have ended up being very different. Do you think that you would have ended up going on and getting involved in environmental sciences, or the fact that now QCC will have this class in the fall, is that really going to help you get involved in environmental science?
I really think that in any way, shape, or form, I would have been involved in some point. I have just always been extremely interested in the biology subject, career track sciences. I've always excelled. So I believe any way that I would have gone through biology, it would have come up, because it's the world we live in and you can't avoid it.
Yeah. Nikki, I mean, same thing. I mean, it seems as if you kind of came to QCC searching and looking for something that would help you with what you were already involved in, but here comes environmental sciences in the fall, so it had to be a little bit different for you this past semester or so.
Yeah, so I had just actually signed up for one class to kind of get my foot back in the door, and it happened to be this one class. I was looking at a direction of global studies and international development, but because I wanted to find a way to work with environmental science around the world. So it just so happened that the one class I did take was the one I needed to take.
There was a lot of discussions. It's a 68 credit program, so it's a lot of courses.
You teach every one of them?
No.
Okay.
I teach a few of them on there, so you will see me. And I will be coordinator of the program, so a lot of those students will come to me for advising. But it was a lot of research, really just looking at those four-year universities and what do their first 2 years look like, and how can we get that over here so that they can do those first 2 years here at a much more reasonable cost, and then have a really seamless transfer path so that they're not left having to do more than 2 years there.
So 2 years, 68 credits?
Yes.
So what does that 2 years look like then? So not every class then for the 68 credits is environmental science?
No, not at all. In fact, most of it isn't environmental science. It's getting that English out of the way, the biology, the chemistry, some of the speech. It's got the mass transfer block built into it so that when you go to a UMass Amherst or a UMass Lowell, you don't have to worry about that stuff, or even Worcester State. As you get towards the end of the program, semesters 4 and 5, you're going to have a lot of your science courses that really relate directly. The geology, the climate and weather, the environmental science course.
Yeah.
So,
Well, one of the things that we talk about quite a bit here on Face the Region is, the community in community college, and the fact that a lot of students who come here end up staying here, right? They end up staying in central Massachusetts. This degree, this option, many of them will go on to get that 4-year degree. Do you think that lends itself to, a lot of careers right here in central Massachusetts?
oh, absolutely. And, as part of that environmental science course that Ed and Nicole are in, we've taken a number of field trips in that course. We went to the Worcester water treatment plant, and, the guy there who runs it was talking about job opportunities there. We went to the Upper Blackstone wastewater treatment plant in Millbury, and, they were talking about career opportunities there. We visited the National Grid Sustainability Hub, which is right near Clark University, just 2 weeks ago. And the woman there from National Grid was talking about all the different types of jobs you could do if you wanted to go in that path. So just within commutable distance from QCC, there's so many job opportunities.
Yeah. Nicole, what do you think? Both of you, and Ed, you grew up down south, so both of you, it seems as if you guys could go anywhere around the world, but, that part of it, the part about, perhaps, being able to stay here in the area.
It's comforting. It's really comforting because you can always go away and come back home. You can work in the forest here. You can even move towards the coast and help protect the coasts that are being affected. But most importantly, you're learning about the world. So even if you do work from home, you're still working with the bigger picture and learning about the bigger picture.
Yeah, Ed, this is a beautiful area. What brought you up here to Massachusetts?
My father actually was working with a company, a very large industrial abrasive company, and from there he was transferred up here because up here is their North American branch. Mm-hmm. So it just brought us through when I was in high school, and like she said, started at Wachusett, graduated, took a gap year, and then decided to come to Quinsigamond.
Yeah, so and that's more and more people we hear, who are going to be doing the gap year, for example. Do you find that, or are you kind of looking at, because this is going to be this 4-year degree, again, here on Face the Region, we hear about lifelong learners, so many different people. Do you think that this is going to attract more people who are kind of coming right out of high school and are interested and want to go on, or really the people who want to make a career change? It's going to be a little bit of everything.
I think you're right. I think it's a little bit of everything. I see a large proportion of young people who are really excited about the program. I see older people who come back and say, hey, I really enjoy this subject. And let's face it, STEM careers have a lot of job security, decent pay. And like you mentioned, you have that versatility of being able to live anywhere, not only in the United States, but in the world. And if some people who come to this place are saddled, they have families or homes in the Worcester area, and they're looking for a good paying job in this area. And environmental science, there's a Department of Environmental Protection branch in Worcester. Yeah. There's a job opportunity right there, there's a lot of opportunities.
Absolutely. So you guys are excited? You're all excited to get ready to go in the fall. Best of luck to you. Thank you both so much for coming in. What didn't I ask that everybody absolutely needs to know about so that they can get started in the fall with the environmental sciences option at QCC?
It's going to be a great program. I think we're going to make a great difference. And no matter what your interest is, if you are interested in a good STEM career, it's worth looking up this option and seeing if it's for you.
Fantastic. Thank you all so much for coming today and being part of the program. Greatly appreciate it.
Thank you very much.
Professor, thank you for being here. I'm Hank Stoltz, and as always, thank you for joining us right here on QCC's Face the Region on News and Talk Radio, AM 830 WCRN.
This has been Quinsigamond Community College's Face the Region with your host, Hank Stoltz. Join us again next weekend on AM 830 WCRN.